I remember going to a store once. I sat outside, I've got coat and I'm drinking alcohol, I'm starving to death. And this woman came up. I said, "You okay?" And told her a little bit of my story. She said, "Hang on, I'll go and get you a pizza or something." And like most people say that. Girls, she came back with like 4 bags of food, man. I was sobbing and it was about 45 minutes later, so I'd given up on her, and I was sobbing and sobbing. And I'm like, oh my God, that made a difference. And I do that today, you know. I want to give everything away, because one thing I've found in this world, if it's with authenticity and you're on a journey with God to do this, you'll never go broke by giving away.
Welcome to the Happy Soul Podcast. My name is Melissa, and this is Sammy. We are diving deep into conversations that connect and inspire. Stories of resilience, triumph, and transformation. Stories that take us to the heart of human connection. Please note that opinions of our guests do not necessarily reflect those of this podcast. Please listen with your kindness and an open mind. Each story shared is authentic and vulnerable. Let's embrace our differences with empathy, knowing every voice enriches us. Together, let's cultivate a community of respect and curiosity. Thank you for listening. Now sit back, relax, and prepare to be inspired. Welcome back to the Happy Soul Podcast, everyone. Today we are honored to introduce you to Dr. Robb Kelly. Dr. Robb has an organization called the Robb Kelly Recovery Group. We highly suggest you check out. And he has the most incredible story. We are so excited to bring it to you. He's going to go into detail about his experience with growing up and his experience in becoming unhoused and how he pulled himself out of that, what changed his life and where he is now. And y'all, it is an astounding story that is just moving mountains. And we're just so honored and grateful that we can hold space for him today. So Sammy, what do you think? You got anything for us?
Honestly, like we have all talked about how I don't cry very easily, but I teared up several times hearing his story, and not because of, I don't want to say the sadness of it, but because of the heart-wrenching feelings he must have had. Like, I was just imagining these feelings about how it would have been for him in so many of these situations, with the first story with his kids, the second story with his kids, some of the people he's met. Like, his heart, his energy comes through the camera at us, and we could feel to the very best of our abilities how much this means to him, and how he truly cares about this, like with every fiber in his being, is how it comes across. And we just can't wait to share him with you. Like, it's everything he's been through, and how he uses that to help propel and move other people forward and make an impact. The belief he has on treating everybody the same, like, it's
100%.
It's amazing. Yeah.
I just love it. He's on a mission to save lives, and he's doing it.
It is his job. And it is
Yeah.
all of our jobs to save a life. And that is a message that he speaks deeply about that you absolutely need to hear. Absolutely.
It's really great.
Welcome to the podcast. We're so excited to have you here. When we came across your story and your information of learning, like, how you went through homelessness yourself, and now how you do all of this incredible work helping others with addictions and homelessness and everything, it's so powerful and so beautiful. So we are thrilled to have you here and jump in and share that story, especially right now, because we're highlighting homelessness, or the Unhoused Awareness Month, as we've learned to call it. Is unhoused is the proper term, and so we're thrilled to have you here to hold space for that story today.
Oh, excellent. Thank you for having me here. It's going to be, we do podcasts a little different. We turn, 20 of these podcasts down a week or a month. But what happens is Courtney goes out and she finds podcasts that are changing the world. And so thank you for doing that, changing the world. That's all we do. I mean, my name is huge in my industry, but we've stopped doing the big ones that ask for us. But yeah, she came on. He said, "Listen, you've got to see these guys. You've got to get on their podcast. They're amazing." So here we are, ladies. Yeah. So thank you for changing the world. That's what you're doing.
You just made my day.
Oh,
wow, that is the greatest.
Yeah, people think we kind of humbly ask, if we could come on your podcast, and then obviously she's targeted you guys, and then when you say, yeah, we're all yay, and then sometimes the people Google me and find out who I am and going, wow, why are you asking for podcasts? It's like, you have to be changing the world. before I come on there. And that's just my personal thing. Are we going to save a life? I can already tell we're going to save a life or two because you two are freaking awesome. So
That's so great. I was just saying to Sammy before we started, I was just saying, we love the message of everything that you talk about. You talk about so many impactful things that what's going to be hard for us, because we are doing a mini series right now about the unhoused and specifically about that subject. What we normally do is we pick a couple of causes a year and we hold space for people to tell their stories all year round. And then we take a couple of months through the year and we really hone in on one subject. So this month is for the unhoused. So we want to kind of hone in on that part of your story. But you talk about so many things, it's going to be a challenge because I have so many things that I would just love to dive into. But that said, we want to dive into that part of your story, if you don't mind. Could you kind of, maybe we should start there. Can you kind of tell us a bit of your beginnings on how you kind of, the beginnings of before you experienced homelessness and how that started happening for you?
So I'm actually from England, in case those people think I'm from East Texas. I'm from Manchester, England, and I was raised in a lower class family. We lived on what you guys would call the projects. We call the council estates. My dad dug roads to fit gas pipes for the gas company, and my mum cleaned other people's houses, which I was always embarrassed about. But yeah, gangs. Uh, I lived in a tough part of town that you either fight or you get picked on and you go down. Well, I was always fighting from an early age, so that was my upbringing. Music was always in the background. I was on stage professionally at the age of 9 with my auntie and uncle playing. It's also when I took my first drink at the age of 9. So yeah, I mean, I always wanted to be a pro musician, and that's what got me away. Most of the guys at our school died of heroin overdose because drugs started to come into our area around that. I went down to college and escaped all that, but lots of love in the house. I have a brother and sister, both younger. Did suffer from alcoholism. I did, unfortunately. And then, yeah, it was a tough upbringing, but it was a loving in the house. We could only afford 2 pair of shoes a year, and we got 2 sets of clothes, summer and winter, and that was it. That was kind of our thing, House was always clean, there's always food on the table. But I was the guy waving the kids off at school on the bus as they went to the local park and, put up tents. We couldn't afford to do that, so that's where my abandonment started.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Oof. When you said you saw your first drink at 9, my gut just dropped.
Yeah,
That's
I never forget it. It's in Liverpool, England, where the Beatles are from. But we were on stage, and there were so many people there. I was so scared, and it came off. And during the interval, 15 minutes, I said to my, I can't go back on. I'm too scared. There's too many people. And he said, "Hey, drink this beer, and all your nerves will go." So I drank it. All the nerves went. It was brilliant, and that's when I got introduced to alcoholism.
What an age to, because you've already got lots of nerves about those kinds of things too, and you have no understanding about the consequences of drinking a beer to overcome them. So how easy it is to do that every time you have nerves, find a drink
Yeah.
and keep going. So at what point did this become completely being unhoused for you?
Wow. So there was a period of time, probably 20 something years before I got there. Um, and now let me build up an image of you. So I kind of wanted to get away from the projects. So I went to college, I came back, I started a business that really took off. Um, Bought my first house, had all the cars, married this beautiful lady, drunk every day, violence in the house. Had 2 young daughters that were stripped away from me at the age of 1 and 3 because I was in care, but I was in oblivion for 2 days and they didn't get changed or diapers or been fed for 2 days. And, they burst through the door and they took my children. And the last thing my eldest daughter, ages 3 and 4, said to me was, "Daddy, Daddy, please stop drinking." And I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And that's the last thing she said to me. Um, 30 years. So all this is going on. I stabbed my wife 3 times one night because she won't let me finish my bottle of vodka. Just alienated from life, but masked by the money and wealth, not huge wealth, but after I stabbed my wife, I call a taxi, I call the ambulance and the police, and I fled to Spain. And there was an attempted murder charge out of me in England. I had to stay there for 3 months, and eventually it was all dropped, and I came home. And when I came home, she had everything packed. And I always remember saying, I love you to the day I die, but you're not going to kill our children, because I'd fell on them drunk and left them in cinemas, at 1 and 3, 2 and 4, around that age. So she left, and I got my kids back next day. I got my attorney to go to court. And then that was when the 2 days happened when I was in Bolivia. Police kicked the door down. There was police, human services, child protection services. Mum was there, all these people at the door, and the police kicked the door down and they served me with unfit father papers. And I remember staggering. I was banging headache, and I saw them take the children. And then I followed them to the door. And what happened next was still haunts me today. It's my eldest girl walking down the path with Mummy said 3 things to me. Daddy, Daddy, please don't go. And as they walk further down the path, my daughter turned around and says, Daddy, Daddy, please get better. Oh. And at the end of the path, they opened the big gate, big iron gate. And she turned around one more final time and says, Daddy, Daddy, please stop drinking. And I couldn't do it. 4, 5, 6, 2, I can't remember. I'd lost everything. I signed everything over to my wife, and I left and went to my mom's, and mom and dad threw me out. And eventually I spent my first night on the streets. It was pouring down with rain. It was freezing. I had a bottle of wine with me. And I just stopped for a second. Where the hell did that go wrong? And that was my first time being unhoused. And the mindset was, I'll go back home tomorrow and she'll let me back in like before. But no, it was serious this time. Every time I went on the property, they called the police. Mum and dad was the same. And I getting arrested. And then again, after about a week of trying this, I sat down in the grass, middle of Manchester, and the abandonment and the shame and the grief and the sadness all hit me. And I just wanted to die, And I spent 14 months on the streets and died twice. I tried to commit suicide like 7 or 8 times. 2 occasions. I was dead, and they brought me back to life. And guys, I hated them men for that, because I just didn't want to live anymore. I have scars. I have hanging myself, cutting my wrists, overdosing and alcohol poisoning. And they brought me back to life on a wet, smelly road in the back ends of Manchester. And that's when I realized, you messed this up, Rob. You messed it up, and there's no going back from here. But still not realizing I had a drink problem. It's the crazy part about alcoholism and addiction diseases. And I used to wander around the houses and try and go near school when my daughters went to school. And, it was sad. It was really sad. And yeah, never thought I'd ever come off the streets. I think the stats in Manchester, England, of the guys living on the streets, 3% get off the streets, 97% die. So I had a huge spiritual awakening that got me off the streets. But yeah, that's where I was.
First and foremost, thank you for sharing all that with us. I'm sorry that has been your experience. I know that obviously there's been lessons and growth, and I know that, I shouldn't say I know. From what I understand of your story, there's a lot that you take to help other people based on that story. But that's a heavy story to carry, and so thank you for sharing it with us. I just really want to say thank you.
Of course. I think it's been so long now but every time I share certain things, I still tear up. But just to put a quick spin on that, after 30 years, my daughter contacted me 4 years ago on Messenger. And now I'm a concierge doctor. I work with really real top A-list actors, movie stars. So when the phone goes, I have to answer it. That's the deal. I could be on a plane within an hour. It went. I grabbed it. It was on Messenger. I didn't have my glasses on, and all of a sudden I looked at it. It was Charlie, my eldest daughter, and she says, "Oh God, here we go again." She says, "Hey, Dad." She called me Dad. I've seen you on TV. I think it's time. I don't believe what everyone's telling me. I need to see you and I've got something to show you, or I've got something for you, or something like that. My wife was jumping her down. I was jumping. And of course, we have people around us. So within like 3 hours, we're on a plane back to UK. We stayed overnight in a hotel. And as we were walking there, I couldn't walk. I was so much shame and guilt. And it was horrible. I was being sick. And we got to the door and I couldn't knock on the door. And she just opened it quickly and we hugged each other and we cried and we laughed. And what seemed like an hour, but it's probably a minute. And here's why I do what I do today, to tell other people's going through it. She took me by my hand and she walked me into her living room. And she handed me my 3-month-old granddaughter. And right there and then I knew I was doing God's work. I knew that girl today is my lead therapist in my Manchester office. And I speak to my granddaughter daily. She's I won't say she's 5 years old now. But yeah, everything comes round if you. So that's why when I came off the streets, I dedicated my life to helping others. And I dedicated to the research and the experiments that we did pertaining to any kind of addiction. Then we got into depression, anxiety, Alzheimer's. We get into all of that. We heal because nobody could tell me what was wrong with me. And my family had been ripped apart. And nobody had an answer. And I was angry when I got off. So that's why we went into this huge research, built the company, came up to America 20 years ago, and the rest is history. But yeah, me and my daughter speak every day. I'm so proud of her. The other daughter contacted me a year ago. So, it's all been put back. My parents died, unfortunately. But yeah, I have a family. And I have my sister here as well in San Antonio because I decided, right or wrongly, let's open a British tea shop in England where you can get British food and stuff. And everyone said, you're crazy in Texas. We opened it 2 years ago and it's doing absolutely fantastic.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm so glad that that's where you're at now, that you're back in contact with your daughter and your granddaughter. And that's incredible. Can I ask you what it's like for you to recall Robb then and look at what Robb now is doing?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of humanly impossible what happened to me. I do believe in God myself. Whether you believe in God, spirit, Uncle Jimmy, doesn't make any difference to me. But yeah, try and keep that spectrum open. But I look back. Somebody said to me many, many occasions, "If you can go back, what would you change?" And I hate to say the same old, but it would be the loss of my children, first of all. But what I found back then, as I am today, and why we heal so many people here, over 11,000 patients, I've got, is what happened to me there with the loss of the children, the dying, the poverty, it became my greatest asset moving forward. Because most people that come to us today suffer from some kind of addiction, child loss. And it's great when they come up and they see offices and my cars and see all that in social media. And they go, what do you know, Doctor, about homelessness? Check. What do you know about losing your kids? Check. What do you know about dying? Check. And it's like I've got all these boxes checked off. So when people come to me, these don't mean nothing. What means something is me being able to be authentic with this guy and be honest and go, hey, I've been through that. I know how you feel and there's a way out.
Yeah. And I think that's probably one of the, like you said, certificates aside, when someone has been through it and done it themselves and come out the other side, that's more of a motivation. I mean, we have another girl that was on the podcast for this month, and she was homeless, and now she runs a company. She's got a daughter. She's in a happy relationship. She's doing amazing things. But there was a moment when she saw someone that she knew used to be an addict. She saw him on the street, and he looked clean, and she was like, he was like her, like she didn't even know him. She just knew him from the streets, and that was her idol. Was if he can do it, I can do it. And I don't even think they had much of a conversation, a small one, but that changed her whole trajectory, was seeing that somebody else could get clean.
Yeah,
and move
it's a
forward.
big motivator. See, when I was on the streets, there was one time pivotal moment for me where everything changed for me. Is I've got the suicides behind me, I've got the deaths behind me, I've got everything. I'm on my own, beat, battered, and stuff like that. I was at the back end of Manchester, which means there's only offices and factories. It was pouring down with rain, and I don't know why I did. I dropped to my hands and knees, and I was sobbing from my stomach. I was sobbing and sobbing. As an atheist, I don't know why I did this, but I looked up to the sky in the rain and I closed my eyes and I said, if there's a God up there, I can't do this on my own anymore. About 30 seconds later, a guy walked around the corner in the middle of nowhere. He'd missed his last bus home from a Bible study. He'd been walking for about an hour. He took a shortcut he's never taken before, and he comes upon me. And, we got talking and I'm dying. He took me back to his house. He's a recovering alcoholic. He's a Christian. And he said, Rob, you can stay here for as long as you like. You've got to come to AA meetings with me. But I didn't want to go. I hated that meeting. But it was a dry bed. So I went. The second day I went and I met this guy called John. And John just blew my mind, is what he was talking about. And I asked him, would he sponsor me? And he said, no, but I will be a spiritual advisor for a period of 12 weeks. So for every Wednesday, I left Derek's at 6. I got there for 7. I couldn't go at 5 to it. It had to be 7. And at 1 minute to 8, mid conversation, he'd walk us out. Weird. Get back home for 9. Did this for 12 weeks, and my life started to change, and I started to heal others with the stuff that he taught me. He said, I've been chosen to do this, and it was absolutely amazing. So on my 12th day with him, and this over 12 weeks, he said, Rob, your life will change from tomorrow. And I said, John, I love you and thank you for everything, but I'm in Derek's basement on a blow-up mattress. Nobody knows I'm there. The very next day, Derek come home lunchtime and he said, Rob, and he knows nothing about John. Rob, there's a guy at work just resigned, sweeping the floor on factory floor. Do you want a job? And I said, yeah. So I took the job, and then after about 2 or 3 weeks, I got my paycheck. And this stuff that John taught me, it was healing people. People were getting well. I bought him a little teddy bear and a card. And I wrote on the card, John, thank you for introducing me to God, because he, capital H, took the compulsion to drink away. And girls, I couldn't wait to get to his apartment. John, you can't believe what's happened to me. I couldn't. And when I got there was nobody home. And I knocked and knocked and knocked, and the woman on the right hand came out and says, can I help you? I said, yeah, is John? Has John kind of moved or something? She said, John who? I said, your neighbor, John. She said, oh, I work nights, so I've not seen anybody there. So left-hand apartment, knocked on his door. Big guy comes to the door. What do you want? I said, where's John? He said, John who? I said, your neighbor, John. He went on to tell me that that apartment is derelict, and if I walked in it right now, as in the last 2 years it's been like this, I would fall 6 floors down or something and kill myself. So I think this guy's crazy. So I goes back to the meeting where I met John, and when I walked in, the chairman's like, Rob. I'm like, thank God for that. I thought I was going insane. And we hugged, and I said, does John still come here? And he said, John who? And I said, John, the guy near the coffee machine we were talking about. And he said, oh my God, Rob, we thought you were praying. Never found that man. And when I got wealthy, I hired the best detective team in probably England, but definitely Manchester. And there's been no sign or nothing of him since. Everything he taught me is why I have a 98% success rate today. And with the neuroscience that we know, he was talking about neuroscience 30 odd years ago. He didn't call it neuroscience, but he was talking about changing patterns and healing people. And here we are. Yeah.
That's wild. So Melissa's Catholic.
I almost fell off my chair.
I'm not.
Did you see me almost fall off my chair?
And so this is like, what? I mean, we both probably have different brain processes of that story, but holy smokes, that's wild.
I wouldn't tell her for 10 years, maybe 12 years. I kept that to myself because people thought, because when I first came to America 20 years ago with new healing things as a clinical psychologist, they took my license off me. He said I was teaching woo-woo and stuff. I lecture to those guys today, by the way. Yeah, I do. And I got my license back and stuff. And, it's what we do. But when I finally told somebody, their react, oh my God, Rob, the same thing happened to me. And And the more I told people, people could relate to or knew a friend or relative that had kind of a spiritual awakening. So after 15 years, I suddenly realized that an angel had come down to help me to heal the masses. And he kept saying to me, Melissa, he kept saying Isaiah 61. And I'm like, I've never read the Bible. I mean, I used to be a chorister in the choir, but I don't go to church. I've never read the Bible. But this Isaiah 61 kept thinking on me. So I came over here. The girl from the church, I was supposed to do a seminar with the church, picked me up. During that day, she had an interview. So off, I said, let me drive. I'm not driving in America. And I took her to this interview. She walked in with 30 seconds. She come back out and said, he wants to see you. And I said, what do you mean he wants to see me? I've got shorts. I've got stains. I can't go in. And when I walked in, he said, we've been waiting for you. So I had to park the car. He went, no, we've been waiting for you. So I'm almost on the way out thinking this guy's crazy. And we talked and she got the job. And he said, you've got to come to our group. We're not conventional. We're pulled away from, the normal church. He said, would you come and talk? So I said, yeah. And we're walking out and I got hold of the door handler, turned around and says, what's the name of your group? And he said, we call ourselves Isaiah 61. So then I had to look it up. And Isaiah 61, as you probably will know, is to bring great news or to heal the sick and bring great news to their families. That's what I do today. Yeah. I love that you can connect with that because, a lot of people can't. And it's like, that's why I'm as successful as I am today is because of John and the angel. And God guides me today and he tells me what to do and not what to do. I ask him for healing and, the big turnaround of my life and what it's like today. It's my DNA has changed. God changed my DNA because I'm not the same person as I was before. And that's what we do here.
Yeah.
We use neuroscience and all these tools that we have, and your DNA changes when you come here.
That's amazing. Wow. I'm so glad you shared that with us. That's so amazing.
Goosebumps.
I mean, I'm sure you're used to your host just being like, what? all the time with your story. So
I always share that, it all depends who's on the other end, but I felt compelled to share that with you guys.
I'm really glad you did. Thank you. I don't even have words for it because it's so incredibly hard to because you've experienced all of this for someone who's never experienced anything like that to have a comprehension of it. I can do my very best, but all of the things that you've experienced from John to the Isaiah and all of the experiences, it's understandable how it's so life-changing and how it's driven you to do the work that you're doing to make such a massive impact with people. It makes perfect sense. When we talk about so you were homeless and then you've got this job now working sweeping in a building. What's it like for you when somebody comes to you and they're in an experience like one of those and you're that first meeting of connecting with someone to help them move forward?
Well, most times when I have gatekeepers, unfortunately, these days, because it's just, I have a lot of people wanting to talk to me and stuff. So I have gatekeepers. So by the time our first session is, they've only heard of me, they've actually met me. But the first session we did some tests. We did some tests around authenticity, and we got, I think it was 15 guys, 16 guys in a room. They were told just to come in, chat, drink coffee, give you $100. That's what they did, head and chest wide up. And what they didn't know was there were 2 surgeons, 2 doctors, 2 electricians, 2 mechanics. When a surgeon spoke for the first couple of minutes to a mechanic, the needle hardly moved because he had nothing in common. When a surgeon met a surgeon, it pumped up to about 25% because they have something in common. After time went by where people were getting used to the environment, we found out that when a road sweeper met a doctor, but they were both being authentic with each other, because now it's spiked up 100%. So I like to think when somebody comes in to meet me first time, the authenticity hits them in the face. And if I get someone who's rough and I curse and they curse and I replicate with the mirroring part of the brain what they're like. Now, before they come in, you have to remember this, that we're very big on subliminal messaging. So Patient comes along, wants to come in. Let's say it's Mondays coming in. We do all the research. My girls look at the internet, look at his Facebook. Let's say we're in Texas. He loves the Cowboys. What happens is this. So when he parks in the car park, we'll have a cup, a Cowboys cup in the hedge somewhere. He's not seen it. And when he comes, the girl's wearing a Cowboys t-shirt with a badge on. And then he's sitting in reception, and the game from 1990s when he won the Super Bowl, he's playing on the TV. There's no noise. He's just playing. So he kind of watches that. So by the time he walks in to see me in the therapy room, all the guards are dropped. We're best friends because we have stuff in common. It's like if you go to Spain and you've got your Manchester United shirt on and you meet somebody, oh my God, oh, you're hugging. You don't know that guy. But the subliminal messaging with the mirroring part of the brain instantly connects you. But you have to have authenticity to pull this off. So automatically we're like 10% healed before we go any further. So I love people because they say, well, we highly recommended. It took me a long time to get here, but I don't think you're going to do what you said you're going to do. And I say to this, we're the only company in the world that does this. If I fail in my mission that we've agreed, I'll refund your money. And they go, what? What? What if I relapse? I'll refund your money, man, because that's how confident we are. And people buy into it. And everybody can do anything they want to do. And people don't believe this. We're born from childhood traumas while patterning and self-sabotage between the conscious and the subconscious brain runs our deal on the subconscious brain. Nobody, or very 10, 20, 30% run from the conscious brain where all the miracles happen. And you see the world for what it is, that, nobody's really watching you and you can really do anything that you want to do, kind of thing. But fear runs our lives. So we're not going to take that step in case. Got to stop worrying what people think about you guys. You really have.
Oh, I love that so much. I love everything you just said. That is so smart. Sorry, Sammy. I totally interrupted you. I just I have a fascination with marketing and brick and mortar retail and stuff like that. I have a fascination with that. And I took a little bit of it in school, and I when you were talking about the subliminal messaging, I was like, that absolutely is so smart. It's like when you watch a commercial, I love picking up on little things like this. I just think it's so darn smart. You watch a commercial and it's a commercial for Cascade, and so their colors are purple and green, and everything you notice, like the plate on the white counter is purple, and the guy is wearing a green shirt, and making you familiar with their product without even saying it before you even said it. You're doing that, but to change lives and to help people. It's so genius. I love it. That is so good.
What is an EDAR? An EDAR is Everyone Deserves a Roof. It's a nonprofit organization that provides unique mobile shelters to homeless individuals and families. The mission of EDAR is to provide a short-term, immediate mobile shelter to people experiencing homelessness. They distribute mobile shelter units through a network of partnerships in order to reduce the number of individuals sleeping in the open and to support their dignity and hope. The EDAR organization was started by Peter Samuelson, who saw a need and wanted to fill it. We encourage you to check out edar.org, that's EDAR.org, to learn more.
So the neuroscience behind all of that says that we can cure anything that you're going through psych-wise. We can't cure alcoholism. It's a predisposition. We can't do that with the hypothalamus. But yeah, it's like you can do anything you want to do. It's just the way you do it. So if you try and insult me right now, I have to accept that insult. Yeah, I have to kind of, okay, well, I kind of agree with, no, but if I don't put my perspective on what you've just said, then you can't harm me. Whatever you say, there's only two kinds of people in this world, guys, and you really have to take note of this. I'm 64, guys. I've been around a long time, but remember this: two kinds of people: the people that love you for who you are, and the people that want to be you. That's it. Boom, mic drop. That's it. Because you have them, even in close friends, you have them people that don't like you succeeding, and the reality is, you might have one or two things that you don't succeed in. Oh, well, I failed. Go and talk to the Beatles, man. Go and talk to J.K. Rowling. See how many times they failed. Just because you fail, you have to learn from that. There's no such thing as losing. There's no such thing as a plan B when you can really, with the neuroscience, change the way you think, change the passion, change your energy, and make things happen. You can draw people to you.
Yes.
When you take these off as a human being and you look around and you go, oh my, yes. Oh my goodness. Yes. Goodness. I mean, we work with entrepreneurs, we work with podcasters, we work with business. Unbelievable success because we've all got that success in us. And the research shows us that every single neural pathway in the brain for health, for wealth, for success, all that is already built inside the brain. What we do is we connect them. And the reason why you've never been successful is like, oh, this is being the best mom in the world or the richest. And all of a sudden you're trying to join in fear, resentment, childhood trauma. And we connect them pathways. And we also learned that there are billions of pathways in the head, billions, but 300 neural pathways, which are thought patterns, die every day. What are we replacing them with? Are we replacing them with the same old trauma, the same old thought patterns, the same, or are we replacing them with new flourished ideas and belief that you can do anything? And sooner or later, the old pathways to self-sabotage set apart because the pathways for success is multiplying and multiplying and multiplying on a daily basis, and nobody can stop you. Nobody can stop you. Don't let anybody tell me you can't achieve your dreams. Somebody's put that there. I mean, I'm not into politics. I don't know why. I just don't like it. I'm not bothered who's in. But we have to mention the fact, guys, that 8 years ago or so, we had a businessman running the country, not a politician, a business. Don't ever tell me you can't achieve your dreams, man. It's not true. It's not. It's the old patterning. If you get on a bus somewhere, you go to the seaside with a bunch of friends, a few beers, have a great laugh, you get back on the bus. Which seat do you sit in? The one you travel there. That's old thought pattern behavior. In actual fact, somebody sits there, hey, that's my seat. It's not, but the patterning, you need to get away from that patterning and create new patterns, new behavior, new neural pathways, prefrontal cortex, basal ganglia, hypothalamus, all this stuff that's stuck in the past with the childhood trauma, because everything we do today is a correlation to something that happened as a child that's stuck in the subconscious brain, but your behavior will never succeed. Like if a young girl in a house growing up, 8, 9, 10, a mom and dad comes home, violent alcoholic, 2 or 3 times a week, she gets into a fist fight, a physical fight that the child sees. She's got a black eye, wake up next morning, she goes down to the kitchen, the mom and dad come down. What does she hear? Oh, I love you so much. I'm so sorry. Oh, I love you too. It's okay. That child learns that love equals violence.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when she leaves that house, when she goes to college, she will, this is the point of the mind, the power of the mind, she will attract the same guy that ends up beating her or alcoholic tendencies or something that's destructive to the point that if she meets a good guy, she'll self-sabotage that relationship because she doesn't think she deserves it.
100%. And I think, I mean, obviously you're the specialist in this, but there's the two ways that can go. There's people who see that and take that's love, that's what I should see, or they see that is not at all what it is, and they go for the exact opposite. Is that true as well?
Yeah, my daughter's never drank because of what she saw with me in the house. She's never touched alcohol, so you're correct there. That behavior is passed down, and they just don't go anywhere near it. So yeah, I mean, I was, I didn't know the stuff in my life I didn't know was wrong. That happened to me. I got molested by the priest. They're just bad guys back in the day, But one day, and everybody bought into this as well. I was always told that you're never good enough. You can't go to college, Robert, like your brother. You're too stupid.
Aww.
I carried that for a long, 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 long time. So I was told stuff like that. My dad never validated me or nothing like that. Never tell me he loved, very few words, never hugged me, never tell me he loves me. My mum was a complete opposite, but that lack thereof, it's why I couldn't keep a relationship. It's why I couldn't keep a job. It's like why my sexual preferences was kind of not normal because of what happened back then. But they drop us off at their friends, okay, every week on a Friday, and they would pick us back up on the Saturday. When they dropped us off, we thought it was normal behavior. Remember that? They pulled out the driveway. We had to play a game called the Run Around Naked game. But the adults in the house, and she looked after like 8 kids, so 3 adults, 2 men, one run around tickling us when we were naked. Now I thought that was normal because they normalized it, but that had an effect all through my life on things I didn't even know it had an effect on. And unless you go back to one of that trauma, for instance, and uncover, discover, discard of that piece of trauma, you will never be at peace. You will never succeed. And I'm not just talking about money. Money does make you happy, but your kids back, your peaceful life, you're achieving, whatever you want to, you will never get there, guys. You will live, and 80% of people in America walk around about 45 to 50% of their capability and capacity because of the childhood trauma.
Oof.
You know what's wild, Dr. Robb, is in October, we just finished doing Domestic Violence and Sexual Abuse Awareness Month. And
Wow.
we're moving into the Unhoused. And the amount of stories that have connected those two together that we didn't know prior to going into this. Mm-hmm. And like you just said, the same thing for yourself is...
It's astounding.
It's unreal. I think every story has involved it in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
I think so as well. It's what, and this is the stuff we learn with all the money we spent on research. And like, I don't mind saying today, we're years ahead of everybody else. No one has our success rate, and no one is as passionate today as I was 30 years ago when we started this journey. It's like there's answers out there, and we can solve them answers. We can solve them. But again, what the subconscious brain does with trillions of bad stuff and sometimes good, it stores the subconscious, and the brain will protect you by cutting that off so you can't recall it. So if you didn't cut it off, you would go insane. So it's like a defense mechanism. So what we have to do is use stuff like brain spotting, 9-dimensional breathwork therapy that we have to go back in the subconscious and pick them out one by one and heal that person.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, most girls have a huge problem with dads that have died and never made a man. We will get a big photograph of dad's head. We put it on a chair, and we ask him to bring shirts and pants of your dad that you used to wear, and we dress this dummy up like the dad, because you can heal with all these tactics that we use. And the idea is that you become free and giving 100%. You have to do. I monitor give every single day I leave the house because I can. I'm fortunate like that. I'm blessed. But we do things like no veteran pays in my offices around the world. I don't care if you're in Spain or Switzerland, you do not pay. $150,000 of my wife and I's money in our personal bank account goes out to help those in need. And every single therapy or coach in my companies have to carry a pro bono every single occasion. If they drop a pro bono or it runs out, they have to pick another one. Otherwise, you don't work for me.
Wow. That is powerful.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's so many directions I could go down with everything you just said, but I think it speaks to the value of the work that you're doing, right? I think if somebody can say, if I don't do what I said I'm going to do, you don't have to, you'll give you your money back or whatever it may be. It's such a confident way to say it, because you know that your work is so good. And if you didn't do what you said you were going to do, you failed, not them. You know what I mean? So you're the one and I don't mean you specifically, Correct. But the person that is charging is the one who should be held accountable. Don't blame the person, because you're the one who came with the expertise. And I mean,
100%.
Not that, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I just want to say this. I'm a personal trainer, and I always say to people, like, I'm going to spend 2 sessions with you. And if I can't help you in 2 sessions, don't pay me for those. And if I can help you, then you can pay me going forward.
Yes.
I'm not.
That's it.
Oh,
And then you're confident like that. And I'm the same. If somebody has passed an assessment when they come in, if you don't pass the assessment, you're gone. And we've had crying parents. And I turned down, I can't say her name, even though she said I could say it, pop singer, about 18 years ago. And her dad offered me $1 million. Now, I say this because people go, I had about $200 in the bank at the time. What I'm saying that for is that would have been real easy to take that $1 million. But if I can't help anybody, I can't help anybody. This was a God-given message and healing tool that has made me. How dare I not give back? And how dare, I take this like some kind of ego trip or something. So when I'm flying out on private jets and staying in the best six-star hotels or something like that abroad, I have to remember that I wish I was this clever, but I'm not. This was given to me as a gift to share with the world. And that's what I do today. If everybody's not giving back, we have $5,000 in every safe in every office. Okay. It gets replenished every month. If you haven't donated, given, helped somebody with that 5 grand at the end of the month, whatever's left, $1,000 for instance, I'll take that out of your wages. You have to give it away. Or it's maybe no good in that you're not helping anybody stuck in that safe. How dare we keep this money that's not really ours?
mm-hmm.
So we do lots of stuff like that, because some fail, pro bonos, some take advantage. I don't care what it is. It's not my problem what they do with the money. Oh, you know what they're going to do? They're going to have alcohol or drugs. Well, that's what I do when I was homeless. So my deal is to give them what they do with it. That's not my say.
Yeah.
God will sort that out, but it's the giving, it's the giving that matters to me and it has to happen on a hourly, daily, weekly, monthly basis, man. You cannot have a day off with. You might be the only face somebody sees today before they go and commit suicide.
Yeah.
And you want to be miserable because you're having a bad day. Most bad days are 5 minutes that we strang out all day long.
Yes.
They're not
Oh,
really
yes.
bad days, right? Is that true? So
Yes.
if I meet somebody, I always tell the story that I go to, I think I've told you on the last podcast, I can't remember. But yeah, my problems I have at home is not going to be passed on to you. What's going to be passed on to you every time you meet me is inspiration. He's like, this is life. We can do anything we want to do. And then we're going to go on, we're going to succeed, and we're going to be the best at what we do in the world. I don't care if you wash windows. Why aren't you the best window washer in San Antonio? Well, why aren't you the best window washer in San Antonio is the question. And you're going to give me 1,000 excuses why you're not. So I say this to them. I think you are. Let's go to court. You bring all the evidence that you're not the best. And I'll bring all the evidence that you are the best. And what you will have, patient, is one piece of paper. What I'll have is 20 boxes of information that you are the best. And do you know what's going to happen, patient? The judge is going to throw you out of court. In actual fact, he might keep you for contempt, wasting the court's time. So throw the piece of paper away and check all these boxes, proof that you can be, away, and start doing the best person you could be.
That's all people need to hear. That's it.
Oh,
That's all
I love
it is.
That.
So
oh
good.
my gosh. So I want to. Sorry, Sammy.
No,
do
you
have
go
something?
because I've asked all the questions. You go.
I have something, and it's probably the answer is most likely wrapped up in everything that you just said, but I want to say it. So, is there something that we can do as citizens, bystanders, in the unhoused community specifically, that would help move the needle? You said that stat at the beginning of the episode. You said that stat and it was astounding. What did you say? 3% make it out alive or something like that? It was astounding.
Yeah.
I stopped.
Yeah.
It was one of my almost fall off my chair moments. I think I need a new chair. But is there something that we can do to help shift that needle over, to help, to be a John? Is there something we can do to be John for somebody else?
Well, it has to start kind of at high level coming down. We're speaking to Robb Kelly right now about our breath box, which is the 9-dimensional brain changing software. But I think it needs to start hard and coming down. So there's a bunch of us, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, thousands maybe, out there trying to change this. But in the interim period, what do we do? Well, that's why we started Robb Kelly Nonprofit. Is we're going to start housing people. We're going to start. I mean, we do this already. We'll help people. Let's say a guy loses his kids. He's homeless, but he's managed to get a date at court where he can have his child back once a week. We will pay rent for a year on his apartment. We will get him a suit, do his legal fees. I think you've only got to do one at a time. There's more houses available than there is unhomed people. What are we waiting for? And I'll tell you why, because the homeless people like me, I'd looked at negative, that we are invisible to those people. It doesn't really care. And the problem is it does care. And the problem is that we need to start shouting from the top of the mountains that this is going to be good and this can work. Everybody, especially for me personally, veterans, for what we've done to them and treated them this way, everybody should have a house or opportunity. There's a great company just started, and they have in a backpack, it opens up to like a 4-man tent, which you can pack up again and move somewhere else. Stuff like that needs to happen. It needs to be somebody changed. But in the interim period, go downtown, man. Go downtown, take some sandwiches. If you've got money, give it to them. Give them hope. If you've got some money, to keep them in a hotel. Whatever it is, make a freaking dent in this situation, because it isn't going to be solved overnight. But when I was homeless, nobody came to me and give me a sandwich. You go, do you know, Rob, it's going to be okay, man. We're going to try and help you. Apart from Derek, going to try and help you. And then, fund this stuff. So our project of robkellynonprofit.org, it's only started a couple of months ago, is to house every San Antonio homeless person out there, every single one of them. And as you become homeless, we want like $100 million complex with apartments with different facilities where you can go for healthcare, you can go to get food stamps, you go get clothes, all this stuff. Before I decide to walk away, is like, we're going to head on, try and do this. But there's too many people who are rich and doing nothing. There's too much money being spent on stupid stuff when you can start looking at this problem that we have. Mm-hmm. But every time somebody's going for office, whatever that is, they promise the world, and when they get there, it never happens. Mm-hmm. And because we're invisible. I'm not invisible anymore. And that's one of the reasons that I'm always out there. Everyone will tell you I'm the mouth, I'm the guy. I'm the guy on the elevator that's going, good morning, guys, how we doing? We're having a good day today. Yeah, I'm that guy, because I'm not staying quiet about this. And we've had an effect on that. We've had an effect on that. So, yeah, that's kind of what I believe in.
Yeah, I mean, I wholeheartedly agree with you. The amount of times, and I don't want to try to toot my horn or anything, but the amount of times I say conversations I had with total strangers and people like that would never happen because I just wouldn't talk to the stranger. I'm like, why? Why?
Yes.
Why can't you go? Maybe you can do something for that person, or maybe that person can do, not that you're doing it for this reason, but when sometimes that person ends up doing something for you, you have no idea what an impact you can make for somebody else by just having a conversation or being that kind person, like you're saying on the elevator. And it doesn't matter who the other person now I can understand certain circumstances. Like if you're a female alone at dark in an alleyway, maybe you're not going to talk to the stranger, but as a general rule, it's.
I'm that guy. Yeah. I'm that guy all the time. In fact, I met my wife 10 years ago, and unfortunately, our first date, I got a late call to speak at this homeless shelter. I tell her my story, and that was her first date with me. And I'm talking about stabbing my wife, and then and she's like there. But on our second date, I don't know why, but she did. On our second date, I took her out to eat in San Antonio, and we had, the take of the doggy bag, whatever you guys call it. And we were walking down the path in San Antonio near the river, and we walked past this homeless guy, and I didn't really see him, but she did. And we walked past, and then she stopped, and she turned around, and she never knew what I did properly. She turned around, and she gave this homeless man the food. And I was like, I'm going to marry you, girl. I'm going to freaking marry you, because that's the deal, man. If you don't believe this, guys at home, do me this experiment. It's like words can't change people's lives. Well, do me this experiment. If you're in a built-up area of people, sneakers are always the best. When you see somebody walking up, complete stranger, everyone's walking past him, what do you say 2 words to him? Nice sneakers. That's all I want you to say. Nice sneakers. Oh, thanks, man. Turn around, watch him. He's going to look at his sneakers 2 or 3 times. you've just changed his world. But guess what? When he goes home to his wife or girlfriend, because he's in a good mood, and as was where the energy comes in, she's in a good mood. And then the mother-in-law comes, and you get the gist. You've just changed at least three people's lives
Yes.
in two
Yes.
freaking words, man.
Oh,
That's
yes.
it. And if we did more of that, can you imagine what life would be like?
Yes.
Yes. So good.
People are mind boggled by this concept of just giving to brighten someone else's day. It doesn't have to be money. It can be a compliment, like you said. It can be the smallest thing.
The
But that
muffin.
small thing can just make such a I'm getting emotional because I friggin' love what you just said so much. It makes such a freaking difference in people's lives if you can just do one tiny thing that's beyond your comfort zone that might be positive to them.
We
Every
heard
day.
it in that
Yeah,
episode.
every day. You have to do it every day.
Yeah. We heard it. One of the girls, like we talked about her before, one of the girls that came onto the show for this month talks about a muffin. It was a muffin that changed her life.
Yeah.
A lady slid a muffin under the door for her. And she was in tears telling us about the muffin and the kindness. And she said she saw me. Like, she saw me.
Yeah.
It's a muffin.
Yeah.
What did it cost that lady? $2? Like,
Save a life.
Save a life. So I want to ask you, Dr. Robb, now, having someone who's experienced homelessness and alcoholism, when you come across somebody who is homeless, how do you respond in that moment? What is your go-to interaction with someone in that situation?
I get to the nearest shop first, buy pizza, sandwiches. If they're drinking beer, I'll buy beer. And then I'll go and I will sit down with them. And if it's sandwiches, we'll break bread. And I'll ask him the story, and I'll tell him my story, and I'll give him inspiration that this is not forever. This is God teaching you how to live, how to get all this experience. It's not forever, man. Anybody can change. And then we get up and we hug. And my friends are like, God, he's homeless. You want to hug that? Really? Really, dude? You're going to say that to me? Are you kidding me? Of course I'm going to hug them. And I do that all the time. I mean, I'm constantly driving past gas stations and looking in. And I often find a mom or a dad with several kids in the back of the car squeezing out $5 worth of gas. Turn the car on, drive in, get out, take the can I do that? What you thought? Fill his car with gas, give him $100, and go on your way. And I'm out again. Well, can I don't want any thanks. I don't want nothing. It's my job. Everything else behind me, I don't get involved with all the money. It's my job to try and save a life or lift you up for the day. It's my job. And I get heavily paid back from God for that, like the granddaughter and stuff like that. And I will never stop doing that. And my staff and the people around never stop doing that. Because if you do, God bless you, but you're not my guy or you're not my girl. Because Derek helped me. I remember going to a store once. I sat outside, I've got coat on, I'm drinking alcohol, I'm starving to death. And this woman came up. He said, "You okay?" And told her a little bit of my story. She said, "Hang on, I'll go and get you a pizza or something." I'm like, most people say that. Girls, she came back with like 4 bags of food, man. I was sobbing and and it was about 45 minutes later, so I'd given up on her, and I was sobbing and sobbing. And I'm like, oh my God, that made a difference. And I do that today, you know. I want to give everything away because one thing I've found in this world, if it's with authenticity and you're on a journey with God to do this, you'll never go broke by giving away.
Mm-hmm. I think everybody needs to be taught what you just said in their childhood. It is your job, Nashuma. Yeah, Peter Samuelson's Nashuma. It is your job to make someone else's day better. Like that is what everybody should be taught. It is your job to make someone else's day better.
And I love when you say sharing your gift. I was always taught it's a sin to not share your gifts. And if you have a gift, it's actually sinful to not use them to better somebody else's life. Like that was almost drilled into me as a little girl. And it's taken a long time to kind of sort out exactly what that means. But I just love, like Sammy said, everything that you just said. Peter Samuelson calls it, well, he said he was reading a teaching from a rabbi. And it's a thing called Nashuma. Have you heard of this?
Yes.
I just love it. You have it too. It's like it's like on the podcast, we're like gathering all the people that have the Nashuma. I love it so much. Oh my gosh.
you told that story about somebody who bought you a bag of groceries. How often did something, you said you were homeless for 14 months. Did that happen very often for you, that someone actually was kind back to you, or can you name that on like one hand?
No. I would be begging for money off people that used to work for me on the streets when I saw them. Very embarrassing. So there's about a handful of people that did that. So that's why I'm adamant today that don't step over the homeless guy. Don't step over, because you're stepping over that and pretending not to hear him and crossing the road and stuff. But one day that addict and alcoholic might just be healing your child. Mm-hmm. So you see, what I would hate, ladies, is for somebody, see, it's a lot of money to come here, okay? We've got blah, 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 okay? But if daily or weekly, somebody comes forward that's got no money. And I always ask me this question: what if God sent this person with no money and it's homeless, but he wanted help? What are you going to do, Rob? You're going to turn him down because you're too busy over here earning millions and millions of dollars a year. What are you going to do here? And I always make sure that the homeless guy or the guy going through it who lives on the projects gets the same attention as the movie stars who are paying a fortune. Because if God's placed him there for me and I've gone, oh, I'm too busy, he'll strip everything I have and I'll be drunk tomorrow somewhere. I've got to do this. I mean, I have a restaurant next door that we opened, and right now there's 4 people in there who are homeless. I called in from San Antonio, and they're eating whatever they want in there on me. Whatever they order, it's on me. Always. People that come in that only order, a plate of chips or something, because give them whatever they want, I'll pay. And I actually pay, even though it's mine and my sister's restaurant, I pay for it. It's like nobody's going to go hungry on my watch, guys. I don't care if you can't afford it. I can, And people, oh, it's okay for you. It's your. I don't give them free. I swipe my card on every occasion. Then I'll give them $20 to pay the waitress as a tip. This is my job. The rest of the stuff keeps my wife happy and pays the mortgage. I don't get into that stuff. I get into who else am I going after? Who else am I going to look for that can help me? We drive. Excuse me, guys. It's confidence walking with God. I have a $300,000 Bentley outside. And dogs have been in it. People have been in it. I pick people off the street who are homeless, give them a ride up with their dog in the back of it. I don't give a crap. It's my job, And as long as I keep doing that, maybe I'll keep that car. Because I know one thing, ladies. When I get to heaven, because I believe there's a heaven, do you know what God's not going to ask me? How much is that watch you were wearing, Rob? How much is that house? Wow, that car. He's not going to ask me that. He's going to ask me one question. How many people did you help, Rob? And I want a big number. I want a huge number.
Do you, speaking of the number, do you keep track of how many people go through your system and come out the other side? Can we ask you how many people at this point?
Oh, he's got it right there.
11,156. There's a new patient this afternoon, so it'll be 57. But yeah.
And how long has this company been running?
Since I got here properly about 19 years ago.
19. Wow.
But we're very discreet. We're very quiet. We're the guys in the background. And we're passionate, man. I mean, we're so passionate. I've been on the streets, right? It's freezing cold. And me and my wife walking past a guy, and he's like, "Do you want a coat?" He's like, "What?" I said, "Do you want?" And I take my coat off, and next minute I'm saying to my wife, "I'm bloody freezing. You should take your coat away." I can't help it. I just can't help it. If it was up to me, we'd be bankrupt with all the businesses because I want to give everything away free. Because who am I to keep that? I got it free. Why can't? So we do a lot of pro bonos and stuff to make up for that. Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, that's the deal.
Oh my gosh. Can I ask you, when you started coming out of being homeless, when you got that job, what was that progression like from sweeping the floors at that business to starting your own company to help people?
So Derek always said that I'm going to help you. So I was living at Derek's, I don't know, 5-6 months maybe. And he had contacts with the government or council back in the day. So I moved into a 1-bedroom apartment. And I bought little furniture as I went along, and I started working. And I opened a very small practice with like 2 people. And then, this 1-bedroom apartment coming out of a huge house with my family. because I'd been homeless and stuff, the one bedroom apartment was like a palace to me. And I kept it clean. And, every time somebody come around, I was excited, not because I was living in this, wasn't even a great place to be. And it was one window this big. Yeah. That's all there was, but it was heaven to me. And I remember a sponsee coming round and I was doing a prayer over the top of me. And this guy had childhood abuse, father had abused him. And I was doing a prayer over him. And it was a stormy, grey, cloudy day. And I'm saying this, what's called a step 3 prayer, over him. And a beam of light came from nowhere and hit him right in the face as I'm kind of looking at him. And right there and then, on my first apartment, I thought, this is going to be a great journey. This is going to be a great journey.
So good. Oh my gosh. We could, Sammy, is it too soon for me to ask this question,
No,
or do you have something else?
Go.
Well, I was just going to ask you if there was anything that we hadn't talked about today that was on your heart that you really wanted to share that we hadn't touched on yet.
I always leave people with a couple of things. One of them is there was a guy that went to the Golden Gate Bridge and threw himself off, committed suicide. And the police pulled him out. They find his wallet, go back to his apartment looking for next of kin. What they actually found was a note on his kitchen table, and it read, I'm going to walk to the Golden Gate Bridge, throw myself off and commit suicide, unless on the way, which was an hour's walk, bear that in mind, guys, somebody smiles at me, nods at me, says good morning. In that case, I'll stop right there, I'll turn around and I'll try again tomorrow. Question, how many people have you walked past today, guys, who's heading to the Golden Gate Bridge? And the second one I want to leave you with, remember that girl I talked about? This is me and her. Yeah, that she's like, I don't know, 4 or 5. There's me drunk out my face. But when we wrote the book is when we all met up again. It's called Daddy, Daddy, Please Stop Drinking. Don't buy it off Amazon. Message us, okay, or me. I've got, I don't know, whatever, 10 copies or something, giveaway. I'll pay the shipping, I'll pay everything like that. Just send me a note, just give it to somebody else who would benefit from it. And the final thing I want to do, because I love you guys, I could literally come and live with you guys. There's so much connection. It's unbelievable. Is this. If you're in the situation that you're on your own, you're sat in a 1-bedroom apartment, everybody's left you, you're contemplating suicide, you don't know what the hell to do, 214-600-0210 is my personal cell phone number, 214-600-0210. Now, as I said before, I have gatekeepers, I have all that stuff. If you're going through that part right there, guys, you text me. Don't Google me. Text me first and tell me that you need help. You heard me on this show. What I'm going to do is text you back almost immediately. If I'm with a patient, I'll text you right back there. And I will organize to do a 20-minute talk with you that will change your life. And if it doesn't, I'll send you $100 for wasting your time. So please use this opportunity. People wait weeks to see me. Have this opportunity, because I would rather spend 20 minutes on a call with you, changing your life, than hear of your suicide next week.
That's a huge offer, Dr. Robb. That's so kind of you. So kind of you. It probes me to want to ask a question. It's maybe not the best question to get off with, but I really want to ask, because I think many people, I think this is specifically more for people who are listening that aren't homeless or alcoholics right now and those who want to help, but we have this negative talk in our head that says like, well, I'm too busy, I have to balance, I have to do this. Can you share how you do that? How you balance when you're offering to give time like that to someone? How you, and I shouldn't say balance, that's probably the wrong word, but how you still prioritize time for your wife, for those other things that are important in life aside from those that you want to help and make an impact with. Can you speak on that a little bit?
I love it. Yeah, definitely. I work 4 hours a day. That's it. Balance. I work 4 hours a day. I'm usually home. Again at 8 o'clock. I'm usually home between 12 and 1. I have 2 English bulldogs and a cat and a beautiful wife. And I spend time with them and we do stuff and we have great fun, and she's a great reader and stuff like that. It's like you have to split your days up to 30, 30, 30. And 10% can be done doing whatever you do. But the 30 in my company is the 30% of the time helping people, 30% is family time, and 30%, is all about balance and sleep. Sleep is very important. Don't listen to these guys. Oh, I only had 3 hours sleep. Yeah, no, you don't. No, come to
Yeah.
me when you're 40 and you look 90. Don't play that game.
Yes.
You don't. You need 8 hours at least, period. And then the 10%, and throughout the day, really. So it's really 100. I'm talking to God and asking him, how can I serve you next? What can I do for you? How can I be of your servant? What can I do? Use me as a tool. And he usually does. And it's balanced, man. It's fantastic.
Man, I love that so
Yeah,
much.
same.
We are, we are so immensely grateful for your time this morning.
Grateful.
Honestly, we can't wait to release this episode and to
brilliant.
share your message with as many people as we possibly can. Yeah, we're just so immensely grateful. Thank you for all of your expertise and all of your everything that you said is just so immensely impactful.
Yes.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
And thank you for all of the work that you're doing. I just think that you are just the best kind of human. And we're just so grateful.
Holy smokes.
I just love him. I love him. I cannot wait to release this episode. Are we just rolling right into outro?
Yeah.
I meant it when I said he's the best kind of human.
Oh my gosh. I love him so much.
Yeah. Yeah. I just what I think is so amazing, Sammy, is just like, I mean, so many things. My mind is like,
right.
like, I rewind back to when we first decided we're going to do a month for the Unhoused. And we were like, we're insane to do this. We're insane. But something was just like gnawing at us. Something said,
I'm going to interrupt you for a second.
we gotta do
For
this.
context, the reason we said it was insane was because last year we did back-to-back awareness months, and we were so busy and overwhelmed that we were like, we can't do that again. And then this year they were back-to-back
not that
again.
we weren't grateful to do it. We
So
were like,
grateful.
yes, we did it. We felt great. And at the end of it, we were a little bit burnt out, and we were a little bit like, okay, next year, let's take our
Spread them out.
awareness months and spread them out. So what did we do? Back to back.
Again, yes. Yeah.
Because we just were so like, and I like that conversation. It was like, we got off the call with Peter Samuelson, and it was like, so we're doing this, right?
Yeah. In
We're
May,
nuts,
yeah,
but
yeah.
we're doing this, right? And then look how it comes together, and we get to have conversations like this. And I just think, I'm so grateful. I'm so touched. I'm so moved by the way that Dr. Robb lives his life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and honestly, if a man with that beginning story, like, can we just rewind for a minute? His story started at 9 years old.
Yeah.
If a man like that can come out of having his first beer at 9 years old, and the heart-wrenching story of being separated from his children, to grow, like, we didn't go into this, but y'all, if you are still listening and you don't know about the foundation, you need to go to, I want to say it properly, so hold on, you need to go to robbkelly.com, ROBBKELLY.com. It's the Robb Kelly Recovery Group. You need to go there now, pronto. Check it out. This is not small potatoes, y'all. Like, this is a massive program they're running, and it is so incredible. And if a man like him with that kind of background can come out to be where he is today and to be creating that much change with that many people today, he said it over and over again, and he says it in his messaging over and over again, but anybody can do this and anybody can be successful. And I just think the way that he is sharing that message is so freaking beautiful. I'm just so grateful. Sorry, Sammy, go ahead.
I'm so grateful too. Like I just think it's wild how he, like I said at the end there, how he popped up into our email inbox when we were just trying to figure out who the right person was.
Yes.
And like, you know, when he said that one part he talked about, like, it's not a bad day, it's bad 5 minutes, and people stretched into a bad day. I very much grew up learning that it was a bad day. Like if you were sick, you couldn't possibly feel better by later in the day. It was the whole day. If you were sad, you couldn't possibly be not sad later on. It was the whole day. And I remember as a teenager experiencing like, I was sick this morning, or I was sad this morning, or I was angry this morning, so I have to still be angry later. Like I remember making that conscious connection in my head that like if I was going to leave my room, I was angry when I came in, so I better be angry when I leave. And it wasn't till I got older that I realized like I don't have to be. Like that's a choice. I can have a moment and I can continue on in this. And it wasn't that I was negative as a teenager. Like I was a pretty positive person still, but if I had a bad one, it was a whole day. I couldn't just move on, and someone in my life taught me that. And it wasn't until I was older that I realized that. And so I think that's the thing that lots of people can struggle with, is like you can just have that moment and move forward, you know, and that's okay. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm totally interrupting you. I have a girlfriend who says when something bad is happening to her, she gives herself a time limit. Like she will make herself a time limit. And she's given me that advice too. She's like, oof, this is a really hard day, Melissa. Give yourself a time limit. Feel it all. Sit in it. Cry it out. Scream it out. Break stuff. Whatever you need to do. Like feel it. Let it sink in. Give yourself that time limit. And at the end of that time limit, you are committing to yourself that you are going to change your perspective. Now you're going to change directions. Now you're going to start looking at the silver lining. Now you're going to start looking at now what? Okay, that sucked. Now what?
Yeah.
And her advice to me with that has been so monumental in how it's just absolutely. And I absolutely agree. It's almost like how we do things with New Year too. It's like, well, this has been a real shit year, so it'll change in the new year. Well, why not today?
Why not now? Yeah.
Why are we waiting for January 1st?
Yes.
Do it now.
I would say this to my clients all the time. Oh, it's already Thursday. Like I'll just start again on Monday. I'm like, no, just do it today or tomorrow. Like, why does it have to wait? I don't understand why it needs to start on Monday, or it needs to start on the 1st, or it needs to start on the next year. Like, just do it right now. I absolutely love, and it takes me back to Tara's episode way back in the day.
Ooh.
When she was talking about like their family jobs. Like it's my job to go to work. It's Daddy's job to go to work here. It's your job to go to school. And I feel like I teach that to the concept to my kids of like, we need to make days better for other people, but adding that language of it's your job to make someone's day better. Do you know what I mean? And not in like a pressure way of like, for kids, it's lighter, but like, I am happy. It is my job to spread happiness. You know what I mean? And like,
you know what? I think I'm going to go to my kids and ask them instead of telling them, I want to ask them, what's your job? I want to ask them and see what they say. I'm curious because when he says it's my job, it was like coming from the inner cockles of his heart. Yeah, like you can feel it.
Imagine in the room with him. I can feel it here, and he's a lot of kilometers away down in Texas.
We're miles.
No, we're in Canada. It's kilometers. Get out of here. He's in the States. He can be miles.
Well, and he was English. Don't they do kilometers? They do kilometers in the UK too. Anyway.
Oh man,
I just love. I wanted to add. There were so many things. Like I said at the beginning, there were so many things that we could have dove into, and there's so many things that he is an expert on. There's so much that we can learn, though. Just if we're gonna steer us back into our subject that we're diving into right now, which is a month for the unhoused. If we're just going to take gear back into that direction, the way that he goes about interacting with people and going about life and going about how people can help is something I think we can all learn from. And I love that he went into the big and the tall and the short of it. Like on a governing level, we need to start up here and we need to change shit up here. And he was like, but also, what can we do on a personal level? There is something we can all do.
Yep.
Don't tell me there's nothing you can do. There's always something we can do. And, like as small as the muffin, as large as money being donated, as small as a smile. Like, smile doesn't cost you shit. So, come on now. I love it. I'm so grateful. I'm so excited to share this episode. I want to share it right now.
I know. It's so good. I know. I'm so grateful. So thank you so much just thank you, Dr. Robb. It was amazing to have you on. We're very grateful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. To help support the growth of this podcast, please feel free to leave us a review, follow us on socials, or recommend us to your friends. Your support honestly means the world to us. With love, Sammy and Melissa.